Hi there, welcome to my channel. I am Manuel Doywood, and in this channel we'll be looking at several issues. Some of them are online businesses, and we'll also be looking at some coding with certain languages. Now here we are going to look at Visual Basic.net, and we're going to look at some controls. So we'll be developing an application, a cafeteria application with Visual Basic.net 2019. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do click on the subscribe button, click on the like button, and click on the notification button so that you always get details whenever I drop a new video. And you can also leave a comment behind so that I will answer your questions. Then share my video with your friends, so that please share it so that they can also know what you are learning. Now, Visual Basic, we have done some previous programs on the parts of Visual Basic and what it's really about. .NET is still very powerful, even though it's not as popular as some other programming, but .NET is still powerful, still does some work. So let's go in and look at what we will do with this cafeteria program. Now, first and foremost, these are the properties, some of the objects that will be on that table. One is the form, which will change its title or text to cafeteria, and then other controls will be like the group box, the labels, text boxes, check boxes, radio buttons, and we will all change their properties to suit what is on the right side. Alright, so this is a sample screen of what our application is going to look like. We'll be having an application that will help us to calculate the prices of products. Alright, so let's have a look at what we're about to do. Let's go into the main Visual Basic environment itself. Alright, come with me. Alright. Okay. Alright, so here we already have an empty but open Visual Studio environment, which I have an application in here. I'm just going to add a new file, a new project to it. So I'll just go and click on File, Add New Project, and the new project comes up, and I choose my Windows Visual Basic form, and that should tell me what do I want to do. And I would like to add a cafeteria application. That's the name of mine, and it's going to be in the same solution, and it's still going to be stored in the same repo, so repository. I click on next and I create it. Alright, so it's loading. Alright, our form has loaded, and now as usual we are going to follow the directions. First and foremost, we are going to follow directions on our control, and first thing says that we should change the form.text to cafeteria. That's what we are going to do before we add other controls. So let's do that right away. So we change our form title text to cafeteria. Alright, so we click on the form text property and we write cafeteria. Now that finishes that. Alright, so the next thing is we are going to add all the necessary items that will look exactly how our table looks like. Remember, our table item looks this way, so we are going to make sure that we have this our table. This is how our table looks like. Okay, so this is what we want to do. So let's go on and deal with that. Alright, so we have set up the form, and you can see the form looks similar to what we had placed what we're supposed to design. So we have designed that, we have put in. Now the next thing is for us to put in the code to ensure that it does what it needs to do. So to get code, what we have to do is just double click on the form and it will take us to the code. That's one way. Or we right click on view code and we are there in the code. So this way we are going to work with. Alright, we'll move on step by step. Now the next thing we're going to do, we are going to add code for the credit card. So we are going to double click on the credit card radio button to open up the code window, and then we'll type in the code that will make it do what needs to be done. So we double click on it and it has opened up the environment for us to code. Remember, our class is class form and we are dealing with radio button when it is checked. So check change. When it is checked, these are the things that should happen. So we are going to write the code that if it's checked, then text boxes 4 should be visible, but if it's non-checked, then they should not be visible. So this is the code that is going to handle that for us. If radio button 2 should show. So we say the visible text box, what are visible is true, then you should clear text box 4. Making it blank. It should tell us level 5. Visible equals to true also. Right, now let's confirm if what we have done is right, because what we want is that once we click on this is level 5, so we want it to show. This is text box 4, so we want this to show also. That's what we are doing here. So we go there and we got our code right. Else this radio button 1 true. Alright, so we have that. That gives us a command. So we have the conditions here. which we have to follow. Now let's keep populating more so that you'll be more aware of what's happening. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the we have been able to add for but so let's work on the calculate button. So return to the design window, and then we will now double click on this calculate button to open up the code window, and then we will now type in the code that will handle all the conditions that we need. Alright, so I'm going while we do that. Alright, so we have typed the codes, and we have here that we had first of all declared several conditions, several variables with sugar tea, without sugar tea, hot coffee, cold coffee, total amount tea, total amount coffee, and total amount. Now these are all being declared as integers. Now if the checkbox is checked, then we say that total amount should be the value in the text box 1 times the variable called without sugar. Now we did that. If it's there, else if total amount is with sugar. If the checkbox 2.check is equal to true, then the total amount coffee will be equal to the value of the text box 2.text times cold coffee. Alright, else the total amount of coffee will be equal to the value in text box 2.text. Alright, remember text box 2.text, this text box 2.text. Alright, text box 2, this is a text box 2, which is coffee. Alright, times the text box 2 times hot coffee. Alright, and we have given hot coffee here as 10. Alright, so that is just it. So total amount equal to total amount tea plus total amount coffee. That would be total amount. So if there's coffee and tea, we have total amount for both. If not, then we have 0 plus 0 value. Okay, so we have run that, and we said finally it should text box 3.text is equal to the string total amount, which will tell us thank you, payment received from credit card, if the credit card is selected. Okay, but if not, simply select a payment mode. So that is what we are doing there. So we can do that code. Now let's add another code which is going to handle other things. Okay, just pay attention as we move on. Alright, so now we are going to deal with the cancel button. Alright, so once you click on the cancel button, we are expecting some activities to happen. So we double click on the button 2, which is for council, and then we type in this code. Text box 1, all we need, because that is we need to clear once you cancel. Alright, clear text box 2 also. You also clear text box 3. Alright, so we have been able to get these ones up and doing. So we have cleared everything based on this command. So let's run application and see what happens. Alright, let's build it, compile it, and see how our cafeteria application is going to make calculations for us. Alright, here is our program. Sorry, we didn't change it, it's still running on this menu. Okay. So let me change it for it to run the phone price application. So how we do that, we go to project, go to cafeteria application, project properties, and that is what we want to work with. So we are going to change the submain to be form 1. Alright, even at form 1 we are not okay with this form 1. We'll have to change this, but the other one was phone price. We need to change this from 1 to cafeteria. And make it easier to play with. Alright, so we change this up from 1.